very much. And again, just from my own perspective, I suppose we got this morning, a sense of the scale of the challenge, and yet if you look at the figures in relation to those who go to Cork and Dublin, it doesn't seem to reflect that scale. And I just, and the challenge that's there, and there's clearly women out there who are suffering, and you were saying that in your opening statement that there was advertisement and so on, and 70 women came forward and so on. But I'm surprised that that more and more women are not coming forward, and I don't know if that's down to a lack of confidence in the service. And and I'm listening to what you're saying here this morning. I welcome the fact that you're engaging with the likes of the credit union, that you're looking at. You said you'd follow the evidence that was given this morning, and I was saying to some of the women this morning about the Cumberledge report and the review, and I was saying that if I was looking at this whole area, I would go through that and see if there's anything we can adopt in relation to an Irish perspective, and a lot of them are common sense approaches in relation to it, and I think it certainly would be a way forward. The CMO's recommendation, is there a particular timescale that you have to be, you look into a timescale when they will be all...
I think the next step for us, Chair, as I gave the update earlier in terms of what we've implemented to date, the next step for us is that oversight group, and in terms of addressing the remainder of those recommendations, our intention is to put that in place. In fact, we've identified a chair for that. We will want patient representation as part of that process as well, and that's important following the evidence this morning. So there's no doubt as part of that, we will feed in hopefully to improvements we can make and around that communications piece as well. In terms of the time frame, I think we'd be happy to bring back a report to the committee probably in the third quarter, in the late autumn, if that's okay. That's reasonable. If that's reasonable, I think in just in terms of Deputy Burks, I know he's gone now, and his comment around the data, I think it's important to distinguish between two things. Obviously, we've acknowledged the difficulties in the retrospective piece. What we've put in place is a programme of work to, I suppose, do the prospective piece more effectively. So we will have clear data, and we can include that in the report we bring back to the committee, if that's reasonable.
And just again, go back to the clinics, that again the women were saying about the difficulty in transport and getting to, and like it's the car clinic would be for all of Munster. So we also need to look at other issues, how people get there, the length of time people are in the clinic, because again I'm conscious that they may not be able to sit down for a long time period. They may, there's other services. It's a bigger picture. It's not just going, sitting there and seeing the clinician. That there's other supports that could be done in relation, to make it more easier access for those women who want to come forward as well. And again, I suppose that's clearly something that could be looked at. The communications strategy that you have, again, I think that's really useful, and maybe that's something to look at again. We did give a commitment that we would return to this issue, and we're conscious that there's men that are, have had problems as well, and we'll look at sort of other areas, not just vaginal mesh implants, but we'll look at others. Just on the mesh themselves, the governance structures of the mesh or the devices, is there changes going to come about in relation to that? Is there, what is the structure now that, moving forward, again, coming on the CMO recommendations?
I just might bring in clean on that, but what I understand from what you're asking, Chair, is around their use, the governance around their use, but I'll bring clean.
I'm conscious that there is a pause, and, that was some of the questions that people asked. You were saying about Germany, they still went ahead in some other jurisdictions, but as I say, it may work for some, but you know,
So,
we're walking a delicate line.
I suppose to answer that, so in the future, the HPRA have kind of classified mesh differently, and there, you know, has been more communication out to people as regards reporting instances. So there was an acknowledgement there was maybe under-reporting of complications in the past. We have this pro forma, which has been set up to, so any mesh that would be put in, you know, with complications is identified and it's clearly tagged. We also have, you know, very detailed guidelines put up regarding diagnosis and management of mesh complications, as well as management of stress urinary incontinence going forward. So the clinical governance piece, there's been a lot of work put into it. In the future, should mesh be allowed again in the country, then it would, you know, there'd be a strict number of people that would have the authorisation to use it in their lists, and that would, there'd be a clear line of governance in that area. So and then there would be MDTs as well. You know, that there would be a good decision making behind any of that insertion. So there's a number of things in place that, you know, I think, you know, it will improve the quality and safety of care given to women. And obviously, if I could just say again that, you know, we welcome any women who, you know, haven't made contact before to make contact with us. You know, we want to do our best for women, and we can acknowledge people may be embarrassed to come forward, or you know, maybe don't want to go to the same unit they were in again. That can be an issue, but you know, the services are there. We want to provide service for people who feel that they have lost out or maybe didn't come forward in the past.
Yeah, I'm getting the nod that we've gone over time, and I really appreciate you coming in.